Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.
Hello everyone, my name is Nausheen and I have secured All India Rank 9 in UPSC CSE 2023 examination, and this was my fourth attempt and my optional was history. Answer writing section, which becomes very important for this optional paper because it can make or break things. If you do very well answer writing, some of things that people follow, if you're following these, it can very well boost your score. And 300 plus, which is usually said that for history optional it is kind of difficult, but I think if you are following some basic strategy, some basic note making, or so you can easily achieve this. So how to write best answer, I would say, whatever experience that I have gained, I have realized that in ancient and medieval section, if you're mentioning primary sources, so for example, if we are talking about Mauryan state and if any questions come from Maurya or Ashoka's state, you can mention the primary sources of that period. For example, Kautilya's Arthashastra or Megasthenes Indica and pillars of Ashoka and coins that are available. That provides information about that period. It would come handy, and this is how you should start, how you should ideally start an ancient or medieval answer. Similarly, for medieval, if any topic comes from Delhi Sultanate, you can mention the primary sources first and then move on to the content part. For modern and world, I would say it would depend on the type of question that is being asked. For modern and world, you cannot very well predict what introduction you have to write, but then the questions would be in nature that it will tell in which direction you have to shift your conclusion or shift your introduction. So that would be for introduction thing. And tail words, as it is mentioned, some tail words include discuss or critically analyze or analyze only. So for that, I had made the strategy that whatever keyword is mentioned, I would try to, irrespective of the keyword mentioned, I would try to give both sides of the argument that is mentioned in the question. For example, in modern India, the 10 marker section has this question in the beginning that critically analyze these things. So in some of the answers it was possible to write both sides because there were many historians that could have been quoted, but in some answers it was not possible to write both sides. So there I decided that I would take the stand of the question that is there. For conclusion of ancient and medieval, I would say connect it with the question asked. Or you can also do that if any ancient practices is continuing till date, so you can very well connect it to the present or to any event that happened later in that chronology. So that would be for ancient and medieval. For modern and world, I would say it can be current based very nicely. You can conclude with current situation of the event. And for modern also, I think if there is some news that you can mention, or I would say conclude with the question statement, conclude around the question statement and write the conclusion. Moving on to why is this answer writing so difficult, and I would say it is the most tricky part during the entire mains, because first you will have to face questions that you have no idea already in the exam, and second you will have to manage time in those 3 hours of answer writing. You will have to see the pages whether you are filling it nicely. You will have to maintain a good handwriting all throughout the paper. So these factors make answer writing a little difficult. As far as history optional is concerned, as I mentioned about the introduction, body, conclusion, other than that, if something that I would like to add is that if in 20 marker question you have 4 pages, try to fill all those 4 pages. So in some of the answers where I was not very sure of the content, and I had to write 4 pages. For example, in 2023, I had this question of the decolonization process of Southeast Asia, and I knew the content, but then it was not very sufficient to fill in those 4 pages, and I did this consciously. I don't know whether it works well or not, but I had this in mind that if the 4 pages are given, I would be filling all those 4 pages. So I tried to use such schematics, making arrows and writing here, so that one side of the page gets filled. Other than that, if there is this confusion in answer writing of history optional, whether we should write in points or in paragraphs. So what I did was, I made pointers like this one, but I wrote 4 lines in it. So it was like pointer also and paragraph also. So it was paragraph and pointer based. This was my approach towards answer writing in optional. Other than that, as I mentioned before, that I would be connecting to this Insight IS at Baliyan sir, and I would be guiding personally about the whole answer writing process, and what helped me increase my score from 196 to 308 marks. Now let's move on to how to write, I would say, good answers. I don't know whether it was best or not, but yes, I would tell you how to write good answers. I think good answer in history optional contains few things that you can try to write consciously in your answer. So one of the component of good answer is writing sources. So I would say sources in ancient and medieval. Sources in ancient and medieval becomes very important. Writing primary sources, because for ancient and medieval we have primary sources with us, which with the help of which we write. With the help of which we kind of decipher history. So it becomes very important. I learned this in graduation, that whenever you start answer in ancient or medieval, try to mention primary sources before the beginning of the content part of the answer. Other than that, if I say a few important things for good answer is historiography. Some of the answers, some of the questions are in nature that historiography can be very well quoted in them. For example, this year it was a social and economic status of Sangam age, or Akbar's nature of Mughal state under Akbar. So in these kind of answers, you can very well write historiography, and it would leave a very nice impression on the examiner that you are very good in your subject. Third, I think would be diagrams. Diagrams can be included in the answers where you have a scope, not in all answers where you are unnecessarily putting diagrams. For example, here in this attempt 2023, there was this question about comparison between Gupta architecture and early medieval architecture. So I drew Nagara style in the paper, Nagara style of temple architecture. So these diagrams can be included in your answers. If other than that, if I have to include other, is current affairs. Some of the answers of especially modern and world would be such that you can very well quote current issues that are taking place. For example, as I mentioned before also, that for United Nations as an organization, whether it is a successful organization or not, you can include present day situation, present day crisis, for example Russia, Ukraine, or Israel, Palestine, that United Nations is unable to solve them. Also So, this question about USA being the sole superpower, you can very well write how COVID has changed the situation, how multipolar the world is rising, and other things can be added in the answers. So I would say these four things would make your answer good, and more than that, unique, because not everybody would be writing current affairs in your answers, not everybody would be including diagram. um, if you also try to add in this, is that I would also like to add in this is about the time management thing. um, if you see, each section of the paper can be given 36 to 37 minutes. So you can divide it in the 3 questions that are asked in the map section. Each topic of map can be given around 1.5 minutes, and the one section where there are 3 questions, it can be given 37 minutes each. So I think all these small things matters a lot, because by the end of the paper you are very exhausted, and you will feel some of time crunch, and you will have to complete it in the required time. So practice becomes very important, and managing time becomes very important. So this was the basic answer writing strategy that I followed. Other than that, I would be associated with Insight Academy of Baliyan sir, and I would be guiding personally how to write answers, how to improve score, and please come and join, and I would try to help as much as possible. If you find the video useful, please share it with your friends and spread the word. Also, please subscribe to the channel. And again, I would like to mention that I would be associated with Insight IAS of Baliyan sir, and I would be guiding personally in answer writing and note making.